turn to Thee, O Lord. Lord, give us holy priests. Thou Thyself maintain them in holiness. O divine and great High Priest, may the power of Thy mercy accompany them everywhere and protect them from the devil's traps and snares, which are continually being set for the souls of priests. May the power of Thy mercy, O Lord, shatter and bring to naught all that might tarnish the sanctity of priests. For Thou canst do all things. Amen. Virgin most powerful, pray for us.
The Guadalupe Radio Network, radio for your soul.
Catholic Brothers for Christ invites all men to attend their Fall Ex Spiritus Conference on Saturday, October 29th at All Saints Catholic Church in North Dallas. The conference begins with a 7:30 a.m. Mass and ends at noon. The guest speaker is Father Zach Burns from Good Shepherd Catholic Church in Colleyville. The theme is American Men, American Saints. Come learn what it means to be a man striving for spiritual excellence and patriotism. For information and to register, visit CatholicBrothersForChrist.com.
Did you know that any Catholic man can join the Knights of Columbus who is 18 years or older? By joining the largest Catholic organization in the world, you can become a better husband, a better father, a better friend, and an overall better Catholic. All you have to do to join is go to knights.net and click join. That's KNIGHTS.net. This starts your journey as a knight and will give you complete access to all of the fraternal benefits of the Knights of Columbus.
Would you like to pray publicly and peacefully for an end to the sin of abortion? Hi, this is Dave Palmer, and I am organizing the Life Chain on Sunday, October 30th in Bedford from 2 to 3:30 p.m. on the corner of Harwood and Central Roads. Please join us, bring the whole family, and be a public witness in support of babies, pregnant mothers, and God's gift of life. Signs will be provided. All you need to do is show up, and also please let me know you're coming by emailing me at davepalmer@grnonline.com.
This is Tim Staples of Catholic Answers. I'm excited to let you know that I also teach high school apologetics for homeschoolconnections.com, an online Catholic curriculum provider and a sponsor of this station. There are also recorded independent learning courses at homeschoolconnections.com. Whether you take apologetics with me, literature with Joseph Pierce, or philosophy with Bill Donahue, or any of the other 400-plus courses with homeschoolconnections.com, it's a great way to get Catholic learning for your family.
Welcome to Back to the Father, a show about the journey of life focused on our final end, which is God Himself, our loving Father. And now, here's your host, Dave Palmer.
And welcome, everybody, to another episode of Back to the Father here on the Guadalupe Radio Network social media sites of YouTube and Facebook and Twitter. We're glad you're with us for another fun hour of talking about a particular topic in St. Thomas Aquinas' Summa Theologia. And I think we have a very timely topic today because I don't know about y'all, but in my neighborhood, as I look around, we got some neighbors that really go all out for Halloween and decorate. There's our next door neighbor has this huge, these two like 20-foot skeletons. Really creepy looking. And our across the street neighbor has ghosts and goblins and witches and all kinds of stuff, and we see a lot of it these days. I personally don't have a big problem with it. Some people think it's too creepy or it scares the kids and all that, but we thought we'd talk today about St. Thomas Aquinas' teaching in the Summa Theologia on the topic of ghosts. All right, what are ghosts, and what did St. Thomas Aquinas say about it? Actually, a very interesting topic, and it ties into who we are as human beings. We're not ghosts. But what exactly does St. Thomas Aquinas refer to as a ghost? And I'm also going to mention, after I introduce our cast of characters here in the studio, about getting called out on CDT this morning in a good way. I don't blame him. Adrian called me out on something actually corrected, and I'm glad he did because he helped me with my show prep for the show today. All right, we have to my right, wearing a little red hat, Sissel Anderson. How you doing, Sissel?
I'm doing well, and it's a sombrero. Thank you. It's a baby sombrero.
A sombrero is a hat, right?
Yes, but it's a sombrero.
Okay.
So, you categorize it properly. You know,
Right.
it's a hat, but it's also a sombrero.
But
yes.
remind me later on in the show, that's going to be pertinent.
I figured it might. Yeah, I figured it might.
did?
It sounds very
No,
Aquinas, doesn't it? About like categorizing things.
Exactly.
So
Especially
that's
today's
why I
topic,
had to
yeah.
bring it up. Yeah, so it's my little baby sombrero that I went to a fiesta recently for a charity, and they had these on the table. So naturally, I put one on.
Naturally.
Walked out with it. Kind of not sure if I'm supposed to have taken it. So I might have to return it. But I was like, I have a stolen sombrero now, but it's a cute sombrero.
See, now this is where studying the Summa kind of gets me in trouble. Is like when you say I naturally put it on, because nature is a very key word, okay? So I start thinking, is it in our nature to be curious and to put a hat on, okay? Is it in our nature? Okay, I'm not going to go there. But anyway,
Another show, another topic. I'm sorry.
Don't use philosophical terms.
I'm sorry.
But anyway, it's good to have you with us, and thank you for the sombrero. And this is William Kirkendall, who has now officially replaced Jonathan von Weber-Hansberg in our picture that we show on our so congratulations for that.
Thank you. Yes, I have indeed.
You've bumped Jonathan off the thumbnail, I guess you say.
Yep.
So, all right. So you like the topic today, ghosts?
I do. Yeah, I'm excited to talk about it. It's
Yeah,
a very interesting topic.
Been pretty impressed with some of your knowledge about some of these topics.
Thank you.
So, anyways, you feel like you're pretty equipped on this topic? I mean, do you have background or more to kind of learn what I don't know. How much do you know about ghosts?
Let's just say I hope so. And I don't know too much except that they basically just, you see them a lot in the culture.
Yeah.
They're just out there. People decorate their house with all the creepy stuff, but I don't know too much about like what St. Thomas says on ghosts.
Well,
so that'll be interesting.
Within the next hour, you're going to learn a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And on the other side of the glass, we have Diane Xavier. She's our producer. She also takes phone calls. If they do come in, they often don't. 877-757-9424, 877-757-9424. And we love your comments. I see Victor has already commented.
Yes.
So we're glad. Victor is a true blue participant of this program. So we're glad you're out there, Victor. And anybody else out there, just let us know you're there and where you're from, and we'd love to know that you are watching right now. So, all right, topic, does it of interest to you, Sissel, especially this time of the year, talking about ghosts?
Yeah, I think I feel like ghosts is such an interesting topic from multiple different perspectives because there's a lot of people outside of the religious community who have a lot of thoughts and opinions on, and different denominations have different opinions on ghosts and things like that. So I'm very interested to kind of refine my knowledge on it a little bit.
Yeah, so let me show you a couple slides, and if you want to kind of, the first slide here, do you see the one for Halloween there? Mm-hmm. Okay, so this is just kind of a setup picture where, this is the time of year, for some reason, for obvious reason, people kind of get a little bit into the macabre,
Yeah.
And I always get a little frustrated because the only reason we have Halloween is because of All Saints Day, right?
All Hallows Eve.
It's,
exactly.
All Hallows Eve, and it's just it's the eve of the day that most people in the culture ignore, which is a little frustrating.
Yeah.
But I think it happens on New Year's Day also. Everybody gets all worked up about New Year's Eve, but the only reason clearly we have New Year's Eve is for New Year's Day. But
Right.
New Year's Day doesn't really get much attention. I mean,
Right.
what does anybody do on New Year's Day?
Yeah, like not much.
Just sleep in from the night before, right?
Right, exactly.
True.
Yeah,
It's true.
So this is kind of, but anyways, it's just kind of what it is. The culture has gone crazy for Halloween. I bet you most people don't even know why Halloween lands where it does every year.
Yeah,
So-
probably.
All right. So, anyways, if you're out there, I'm going to show you a couple of creepy pictures. If you're really kind of creeped out by ghosts and goblins, you may want to not watch. But here's a creepy picture of a ghost. Okay, and so what is? I'll throw this out there. Why? And I'll show another one that's even creepier. And there's a couple creepy pictures. So why is it that we get creeped out by ghosts? And what is a ghost from a secular standpoint? A ghost would be basically something that departs a body when it dies. right? When a person dies, whatever departs from it would be the ghost, and since it would be invisible, we have to somehow cloak it with something physical, and that's why people put sheets over them. But really, a ghost would be invisible, right? But
exactly.
but you can't.
It's hard to portray that in movies.
Yeah, you can't demonstrate something that's invisible.
Yeah, and Victor says it's because they're corporal.
The ghosts are. No, they're not corporal.
They're not corporal.
They're
Sorry, that was my brain not reading. I saw it said they're not corporal. They're not corporal.
Now let me show you something. Okay, next creepy picture on the next slide is this dude, and he's lying in bed, and presumably he dies, and it kind of, you see that picture of like the soul departing from his body, right? And I was thinking about like movies where somebody discovers a corpse. Okay, the ones that come to my mind, and you might think of other ones. Have you ever seen the movie Stand By Me?
Nope.
River Phoenix. It's actually a good movie. It's about a group of like 11, 12-year-old boys. And I know somebody out there has seen Stand By Me. I like it, and so they come. They're out hanging out one day, and they find a body, a corpse, right? And of course they're freaked out and they don't know what to do, and so they go back, and then the whole plan is they want to go back to find this corpse because I guess only a couple of them saw it the first time, and the whole movie is based on these boys finding a human corpse, right? And the fascination with it. Okay, right. The other one that came out recently was where the Crawdads Sing. And
also did not see that.
Didn't see that one either. Okay, and
I feel like there's a lot.
That also was based on somebody, back in the woods finding a corpse. Okay, so now the next picture I'll show you is a dead bird. Okay. So what if?
Hang on.
So what if these little boys in Stand By Me came across a dead bird, a dead squirrel, a dead deer? Do you think they would make a whole movie about the fascination of these boys? Going back to the place where they found a corpse, it's no big deal. Right?
I don't think so.
So what's the difference? Why is finding like let's just say, I don't like the term dead body because a body is always alive, a corpse is dead, but I'm just going to say dead body for the sake of. So what is it that fascinates people with both ghosts and corpses? Because they creep people out, both of them. So what is it?
I think it's probably mystery. In the movies, it always seems like they see this thing, and they get scared at first, and they run away from it, and they go back because there's a desire to go. I don't know what it is. If it's, I honestly don't know what it is. But they all in the movies, it always seems like they have the tendency to go back to the thing that scared them at first.
You're right.
And I don't know what it
You're
is
like, I don't know why.
Well, they say,
I wouldn't.
They say criminals will typically return to the scene of the crime, because there's a certain fascination about where something happened.
Yeah, exactly.
But
Victor says curiosity.
Yeah,
I think
agree.
it is something it's I guess to an extent it's something that death obviously affects all of us. So you're curious about it because we don't know much about it, quote unquote. You know what I mean? Because you're like, well, it's not like you can just ask your friend. You can't just ask your friend like, how's death? Like, let's
But why so much more fascination with the corpse of a human being than a deer or a bird or a snake? You come across or let's just say you're driving down the freeway, okay, and God forbid you see like a human corpse on the like the median or something like that. I mean, you would immediately I got to call 911. I got to do something. What's going on?
For sure.
But we see all the time,
roadkill,
armadillos and foxes and cats and dogs. It's a little sadder when it's a cat or a dog.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, just keep on going. No big deal. So I think, but what I'm getting at is, first of all, the dignity of the human person.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I was going to say, we just know that.
And secondly, I think like with the movie Stand By Me, there's a certain sense of like, part of that creature, it might still be hanging around, like there's the corpse is there, but then something left, and it's almost you use the word mystery. There's a mysterious element of like, where did the soul go? You know, where is it still hanging around? Is this like a haunted area? Is there a ghost? You know, but we don't think that way with a bird. We don't think like the bird ghost is hanging around. Okay, so
I'm really glad, but thanks for putting that image in my head because now I might.
So, all right, I see Adrian is here, so I want to thank Adrian because Adrian, as I mentioned a moment ago, kind of not called me out, but he corrected me this morning on CDT because Rudy had asked me. Kind of a lead-off question about ghosts and whether St. Thomas Aquinas mentions anything in the Summa about souls returning to the living. And my response, because I had only studied, as of the time of 7 o'clock this morning, I had only looked at one question in the Summa, which is a part about human nature and prima pars. And in that part, he doesn't address it. And so I said, I don't think so. He talks about whether we have knowledge of like what's going on Earth. Do you have any grandparents that have passed away?
I have one, yeah.
Okay,
my grandfather.
so your grandfather, and my father has passed away. So it's kind of, do you ever wonder, like, does he know what's going on?
I
I
think
worry.
about that often, yeah.
Yeah, you worry about that.
Yeah. You're like, oh yeah, my mom. I'm like, oh dear. Yeah.
Yeah, like do they
know what's
everything
happening?
that's
Yeah.
going on?
Yeah.
I mean, I think about that often. Like my former boss, Doug Pearson, passed away, and as an employee, I was like, does he kind of know everything I'm doing and whether I'm blowing off work or if I'm working hard or you know what I mean?
Right.
I think we touched on this a couple weeks ago, and I think you said that they can, but they have to but God permits it, so they can't do it if they're in heaven unless God gives them special permission to see what's going on down on Earth
and
with their relatives.
Interesting because on that particular article in the Summa, Aquinas he talks about this debate that I think it was Augustine was having with either Chrysostom or Damascene, where they were not in agreement, and he kind of gives both sides. And Augustine, it was very personal to him because his mom Monica was so, on his case constantly when he was alive and praying for him and trying to get him back into the church. And he even made the comment like since she passed away, I don't hear from her. I don't, it was kind of personal to him and that made him, I think, believe that maybe they don't really have a whole lot of knowledge of what's going on. Because he thought his mom would be continuing to kind of badger him, after her death. And so it's kind of interesting. But Adrian pointed out, and I do have the information in totality, that late in the Summa, and the part about the last end and the last things, there is a very, very specific question that asks whether or not souls can return to the living. Okay, and so Adrian had it this morning, and he gave a clip on it, but I'll share that in its entirety here in a little while. Okay.
All right.
Cool.
All right.
Big promises, Dave. Just saying.
and I will come through with it. Okay. So I promise. All right. So let me see what else. Okay. So yeah. So the corpse is unnatural. The ghost is unnatural. And for some reason, I had zombies on here. People are fascinated with unnatural things.
I know.
Yeah,
it's creepy.
Yeah, it's like these, where you have like the head of a horse and the body of, they bring what are they called? Where you blend two different creatures together, like.
There's probably a word for this. I don't remember.
Yeah,
but
I don't know.
For some reason, centaur comes to my mind.
Well, centaur is a half horse, half man.
Yeah,
that is a mythical creature.
So a centaur would be very unnatural,
right?
Because it's a man and a horse basically like breeding together, right?
Yeah.
And so that kind of thing. All right, so let's get to it. Okay, before we jump into this, because I think it's really interesting. Are there any comments? Okay, Adrian said, okay, they can't by their own power, but they only can by the grace of God.
Yeah, which is what William was saying.
Okay, yeah. Which is what he said as well. All right, so let me first of all. The question that Thomas asks is, this is the part about human nature. He says, whether the separated soul can understand anything. All right, so this is actually a really interesting philosophical question for reasons that Aquinas is going to explain here, because, we've talked about this before. Here on Earth, everything that we come to know is through the senses.
Right.
Okay, so the only reason any of us know what a dog is because we saw a dog. Okay, I guess it's possible that somebody could have explained a dog to us, but even that would be through the senses because we hear it, right?
Right.
Okay, so if you saw a dog for the first time and you see it, you would, don't know what that is. I've never seen that before, right? So now the problem Aquinas is going to have is now you got this separated soul, and every mode of it coming to know anything here on earth was through the senses, and it's no longer has senses. It's separate from the body. So how in the world can it understand anything? Okay, so that's basically what he's going to get at here, and it's really interesting how he goes about this. He says the difficulty in solving this question arises from the fact that the soul united to the body can understand only by turning to the phantasms, as experience shows. Okay, we talked about phantasms before, right? Okay, the phantasm.
Yes, the phantasms.
You remember what a phantasm is?
I don't remember hearing that. I don't know if maybe
That
I
might
was
have been a
here
previous
before.
show.
Yeah,
before. I don't know if we talked about them since
before.
William's been here. So,
Yeah.
Dave, would you like to re-explain?
So if I say turtle, okay, what just popped in your mind was a phantasm. Okay, so you've got this image that is kind of separate from matter of what a turtle is, right? Because you probably thought of a shell, you thought of 4 legs and a head and a little tail or something like that, right?
Victor says turkey because turkeyness is normally what we use. Turkey. You would always see the turkeyness. That goes back.
Turkeyness, right? So,
what happens if you like something that's not actually a turtle pops into your head?
so I say turtle and you think of a refrigerator?
No, not. I referred. So like for me, the first thing I thought of, and I started smiling because I thought of my best friend because she calls herself an awkward turtle.
Okay.
So I thought of her.
Yeah.
So like, but that's like, but it's associated with the turtle.
But yeah, because she's
so it
comparing
would be,
herself to a turtle,
right?
So, and that's where we get the word fantasy. Okay, so if I'm fantasizing about being on the beach of Florida right now, right, and I can picture myself there. It's abstract. It's not. I'm not there. It's not something physical, but it's in my mind, right? So that's where we get fantasy. Okay, you can fantasize about something, but you would have had to have had a previous experience of it. I can't fantasize about something I've never experienced. You know?
That's interesting because it's kind of like C.S. Lewis and J.R.R. Tolkien writing their fantasy books, and like you just now said, you can't fantasize something unless you've had previous experience. I was in a literature class yesterday, and my teacher said that because they both fought in World War I, J.R.R. Tolkien was literally thinking about it in the trenches. So they kind of had the experience of like that dark time, and that's kind of how they got the original idea for their books, and they went on with that. So like you said, you have to have an experience, and I think World War I, fighting in that war, was their experience to write their fantasy.
and it wasn't like they were experiencing fighting a dragon per se, because in The Hobbit there's a dragon, but it's like kind of something that gets you close to it.
Yeah, like fighting the forces.
Or you could combine two things. Like I could know I have experience of an earthworm, and I have an experience of a building, to be totally random, and so I can think of like a big building in the shape of an earthworm, or like I can make something up, but I will have had to.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know how architecturally sound that would be.
Probably more so than the building we're in. But it's all like squirming around, and so don't let that throw you off too much. But so anyway, when it gets into human epistemology, coming to know things. Okay, so just to use this bottle here as my example. Thomas would say that we abstract the phantasm from it because our senses experience it only sensibly, but then our intellect sees the universal. And so our universe will say, bottleness, and so we're abstracting a phantasm. We're taking an image of what it is through our senses and then informing our intellect. And so, anyways,
interesting.
That's but I epistemology is
it's
really
very
a lot of fun. It has a lot to do with what we're talking about here because it's all about knowledge. Okay, so I move on. That was a long tangent on phantasms, wasn't it?
Yeah, on just one sentence.
Sorry.
We're one sentence in
I
there,
just figured we gotta update everybody if William didn't know what it was fully.
Okay. Then he says, did this not proceed from the soul's very nature, but accidentally through its being bound up with the body, as the Platonist said, the difficulty would vanish. Okay, so if he says here, like if the soul and the body are not meant to be united together, like Plato would say that the soul is actually made free and liberated when it separates from the body. Okay, the body is just like a ball and chain that the soul carries around on the earth, and then as soon as you die, you're free. Okay, so he's saying if that was the case, then with the problem solved because the soul is now separate and it's like an angel and it's great. And that's how it comes to know things. Okay, so that's what he's saying. He said the difficulty would vanish if that was the case, if we were Platonists. But we're not Platonists. Okay, you're not allowed to be a Platonist on this show. Okay, for in that case, when the body was once removed, the soul would at once return to its own nature and would understand intelligible things simply without turning to phantasms, as is exemplified in the case of other separate substances.
So what we're saying is that from what Plato is saying is right. You're saying that when you separated, you'd still be able to learn things, but just in a different way, not having to do with the body.
Yeah, well, I mean, Plato would say that the natural, like the ideal...
That's where we should be.
The ideal is to be separate.
Gotcha.
And while we're here on Earth, it's almost like we're being like punished with this body.
Got it. The body's weighing us down.
Yeah, the body is weighing us down. We got to lug this body around for 60, 70, 80 years, and then we die, and boom, we're free. And so that clearly is not what Aristotle taught, and not what any Christian tradition has taught, because we say that the body is good, the body is necessary. We have a resurrection of the body at the end of time, right? So why would the body resurrect? You would think that, like, once the souls go to heaven, it's like, oh, just let that body, disintegrate and that be done with it, right? Now we're just floating around like angels, know. But it's clearly a very, very, a dogmatic teaching of our faith that we get our bodies back. So why would we get our bodies back? Unless it's the natural form of
as it should be,
right? Yeah, as it should be. Okay, so all right. Next slide says, in that case, however, the union of soul and body would not be for the soul's good, for evidently it would understand worse in the body than out of it. But if we admit that the nature of the soul requires it to understand by turning to the phantasms, it will seem, since death does not change its nature, that it can then naturally understand nothing as the phantasms are wanting to which it may turn. Okay.
Nope.
You got it?
Can we read that again? No, actually, don't read it again, because that's not going to help.
Well, no, he's saying that if that was the case, then if it had to be united to a body, and if, like on Earth, we only come to know things through the senses, well, then that separated soul can know nothing. Okay, so it's now separated from a body, and it's just like it can't learn anything because it lost its body. Okay, so it's like the opposite of Platonism, saying instead of it being free and it being in a better state, this is saying, well, now it's in a horrible state because it doesn't have a body and it can't do anything, right? Okay, does that make sense?
Yep.
All right, so next slide says, now the soul has one mode of being when in the body and another when apart from it, its nature remaining always the same. But this does not mean that its union with the body is an accidental thing, for on the contrary, such union belongs to its very nature. The soul, therefore, when united to the body, consistently with that mode of existence, has a mode of understanding by turning to corporeal phantasms, which are incorporeal organs. Okay, so here he's saying, he's making kind of a compromise and saying, okay, when down here on Earth, we've got the soul, we got the body, everything that we know is through the body, through the senses, but clearly when the soul departs from the body, then it has another mode of coming to know things. It becomes like an angel, all right? So he's saying somehow once it departs from the body, it no longer needs the body temporarily until it gets united again with the body.
Got
okay,
it.
does that make sense?
All right.
All right. How's everybody out in social media land? Is this making sense? Any comments?
Well, Lori joined us on Facebook. She said howdy.
Howdy, Laura. Lori? Okay.
Lori.
Yeah.
Lori. And so, don't have any questions so far,
all
but
right.
subject to change at any second.
Okay, at any given moment.
Any
Okay.
given moment.
Okay, so this is the last little slide on this. He says, but when it is separated from the body, it has a mode of understanding by turning to simply intelligible objects as is proper to other separate substances, and that would be angels. Hence, it is as natural for the soul to understand by turning to the phantasms as it is for it to be joined to the body, but to be separated from the body, it is not in accordance with its nature, and likewise, to understand without turning to a phantasm is not natural to it, and hence, it is united to the body in order that it may have an existence and an operation suitable to its nature, But here again, a difficulty arises, for since nature is always ordered to what is best, and since it is better to understand by turning to simple intelligible objects than by turning to the phantasms, God should have ordered the soul's nature so that the nobler way of understanding would have been natural to it and would not have needed the body for that purpose. So he's basically saying here, okay, if the angels are smarter than us, angels kind of have a better, they're brighter, they're more intellectual than us, well then why did we get a body that we had that makes us a lower intellectual substance? Okay, so why do we have to the body in the first place then? Why don't we just be angels? What's the point? What's the point?
It's a great question. Like how you looked at me like I was going to magically come up with that exact answer.
And the bad part is he this is all one article, and he goes on and explains it, but I think we've heard enough of this, and he explains it in such a way of, and it actually was kind of complicated. I don't know if anybody out there has studied this question, or I know Adrian probably has, but he talks about how the light, the divine light of God, like God, and this is where your hat comes in. Is that the God knows everything in an instant, right? And just in an eternal now, and there's no limitations to God's knowledge.
Right.
And then as you go through the order of angels, from the seraphim and the cherubim and the thrones and dominions and archangels and angels, they know things in a much less. It's a more complicated way of knowing things, and that's where the category of hat is more universal than sombreros.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so because sombrero falls under a hat, but hat is more universal, right?
Right.
Just like snake and cat and dolphin are all animals, but there's a category called animals that's much more broad, right? So the higher angels would know things through fewer species.
Mm-hmm.
Like they would have a knowledge of animals that would encompass everything, whereas maybe a lower angel would have to know things more particularly. Okay, so not more universally. Does that make sense?
A little bit, yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah, a little
See,
bit.
actually, it makes a lot more sense to me because I read somebody's book and I got it. I understood it then because you were.
Because I explained
You went into that.
right?
Yeah, I like how you're asking me. It's your book.
Well, okay, let me try to explain this. And,
Yes.
and everybody out there, tell me if it makes sense, because I don't claim to explain everything perfectly, okay? So let's say that, let's say that Diane has perfect knowledge of toads, like every different type of toad, and she has perfect knowledge, okay?
Okay.
And then she also has perfect knowledge of separately of snakes, okay? But it's in two different species. So she has this knowledge of toads and then snakes. But let's say you have a perfect knowledge of, and I shouldn't have said, of animals in general. So the toad and the snakes are going to fall under that broad category that it took her two different species to understand it, because she has it in two different categories. But for you have a clear understanding of animals in general, and so the toad and the snakes fall under that. But you
together.
But you don't have to do it individually.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. But whereas when you get all the way down to us, our way of knowing things is through the senses, and so it's really broken down.
Right.
And not only that is we have to go learn it all. We have to learn algebra. We have to learn.
Sadly.
And we
I
have
know,
to learn.
right?
Actually, if I want to know about toads, I got to go find a toad and study a toad and get books on a toad. So I can still have an intellectual knowledge of this stuff, but it's really kind of complicated as opposed to the angels that have infused knowledge. Like if I infuse knowledge in your brain of animals in general, every single thing about every animal in general, that would be a much more universal and broad knowledge than knowing about toads and knowing about lizards and knowing about snakes, all individually.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Adrian, anybody out there? Victor, does that make sense? Do you think I'm on track there as far as the different grades of angels and the intellectual species and all that kind of stuff? So I know it's pretty deep, but I don't know. I kind of geek out in that.
No, the analogy made sense, so that's good.
Okay, all right. So
At least William understands.
took me a little while to get there, but all right. So we'll move on here, and he asks a question: whether the habit of knowledge here acquired remains in the separated soul. Okay, and again, this is where like everything that we've learned here on Earth. If I died right now, will my separated soul remember, how to do math or how to like what I knew about the Summa? Will my separated soul know, even though like my brain is not
interesting,
because my brain isn't in my separated soul, and
so you're saying
will
yes.
retain everything.
So like the most brilliant person on earth remember everything that they learned.
Yeah.
Oh.
Right. Will it all and let's say my knowledge is a 7 out of 10 and yours is a 9 out of 10.
I'm glad we did it that way and not the other way around. Thank you for that.
And we both die. Is your separated soul smarter than mine because you knew more here on Earth? Okay.
That's a fascinating question. I would love to know the answer.
Yeah, I mean, angels have infused knowledge.
Right.
And they're pure spirits. So, I mean, couldn't we, if our souls
or
go to heaven? I mean, we're not like, I don't know I don't know if it'll be exactly pure spirits when we get to heaven. I know we have souls that will be there, but if pure spirits know everything,
by the way,
can't we?
Yeah, right. And by the way, Adrian took that angels are toads from your example, by the way.
Angels are toads?
Yeah, that's what he took from your...
I expect so much more brilliance out of Adrian than that, angels are toads, got it.
I feel like I'm starting to mix things up.
No,
but
angels know toads.
There you go.
Okay, that would be a better thing to say.
Okay, so let's say
Adrian's a lot smarter on CDT in the morning than me. I guess late in the afternoon.
Maybe he peaks at 6 a.m.
Late in the afternoon, he starts fading. Yeah.
No, I was gonna say is it potential too though that if I was a 5 out of 10 on knowledge here on Earth, I die, my soul becomes separated, that I could get infused knowledge and then know more than I did before too? Opposite?
I think so. Yeah.
You think so?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I also think, and I think the Summa plays this out, is that we're going to, we talked about this, going to have different levels in heaven. And I really think that Thomas is saying that some of us could be seraphim, human beings.
We'll be up there with the angels.
Yeah. And the seraphim, but a seraphim can't become a virtue or a power, an archangel, because it's a different species.
Right.
But within our species, we can, to Sissel's point, be infused with knowledge that would raise us up to the level of certain, different degrees of angels.
So you're saying we don't need our physical minds to be able to know things in heaven, is basically.
Yeah, but then we'll get our brain back.
True. True.
So
because Forrest is asking, but the soul is spirit and should have the knowledge we gain in life. Is that? Are you saying yes? It should.
But let's say that I learned algebra on a 6 out of 10 basis here on Earth, and then I die, and God infuses algebra at a 10. So who cares what I learned? That 6 out of 10 has now been, surpassed. And so that's where I get confused. I'm not claiming to know the answer to this. I'm just saying that, or if I know a whole lot about snakes, because I do and I love snakes, but then I die and I get infused knowledge of everything snakeness.
Be in snake heaven.
Yeah. So what did it matter what I learned here on Earth? Because I'm just getting infused with everything else.
Dave suggest why do we even try studying math here on Earth? You're gonna have some smart aleck kid is gonna go to his mom now, and it's
helpful here though.
Yeah, it is.
It's helpful from this standpoint. Okay, so. All right, so
Victor says that I think we must get our just reward. Our knowledge comes into play with that. The more we know, the more we will be accounted for, right?
Can you say that again?
And then, okay, let me read a couple comments. So Victor says, I think since we must get our just reward, our knowledge comes into play with that. The more we know, the more, like here on Earth, the more we will be accounted for, right? He said.
Yeah, because otherwise you'd have invincible ignorance, right? If you never heard the name Jesus your entire life, you had no knowledge of him, you can't be expected to worship him or know him, right?
Right.
And so you could go to heaven. I mean, that's a teaching of the church, yeah.
And then, sorry.
Oh, okay.
And then Adrian says, I don't know if God will infuse all knowledge within us. I doubt it.
Infuse all knowledge. Yeah. So I don't know. I think there will be infused. I mean, because if we're equal to the angels, as Thomas clearly says in the Summa, that
In heaven, yeah.
in heaven we'll be equal. It will be equal to the angels. Not we won't be angels, but we'll be equal to them in intelligence. Then their knowledge comes through infusion. Well, how could we become equal to them if it isn't infused? I mean, it would be impossible, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay, so, all right, the other one, whether separated souls know what takes place on earth. We already kind of talked about that a little bit. Now let's get to this question that Adrian found this morning on CDT that I was not aware of at 7 o'clock this morning, but, you got
aware of really quickly.
You get a couple cups of coffee in you and a little bit of research, and so, okay, so now he says, this is really the main point when we're talking about ghosts and Halloween and the whole idea that, somebody could think like, gosh, I have this sense that, there's a ghost in the room. I told you recently, I don't want to say it publicly, about somebody who felt like during an on-air event that, we were having, that they felt a presence of somebody in the room. Remember I told you about that?
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
Okay.
The Sixth Sense.
Yeah, right. Yeah, what's that movie?
The movie.
Have you seen
Yeah.
that?
I've seen the trailer. It freaked me out.
I see dead people. Yeah, that was Bruce Willis.
Yeah.
That's right,
Interesting movie. So and that would be somebody coming back in physical form as a dead person, right? In the movie. I hate to give it away, but if you haven't seen that movie yet. Okay, so now he's clearly saying, do the souls come back, to the living? Okay, and this is there's two panels here, and we'll kind of take them one at a time and talk about this. He says there are two ways of understanding a person to leave heaven or hell. First, that he goes from thence simply, so that heaven or hell be no longer his place, and in this way, no one who is finally consigned to hell or heaven can go from thence. Okay, does that make sense? Basically saying if you're in heaven or you're in hell, you're there permanently and you're not going to be moving around. And, I don't think I like hell anymore. I'm going to go back to earth, or I'm going to go to heaven. He's saying no can do.
Yeah.
Secondly, they may be understood to go forth for a time. And here we must distinguish what befits them according to the order of nature, and what according to the order of divine providence. Consequently, according to the natural course, the separated souls consigned to their respective abodes are utterly cut off from communication with the living. Okay, so naturally speaking, they cannot leave. They're stuck there. They're not going anywhere. For according to the course of nature, men living in mortal bodies are not immediately united to separate substances, since their entire knowledge arises from the senses, nor would it be fitting for them to leave their abode for the purpose other than to take part in the affairs of the living. Okay? Okay, so then let me get to the second panel here. Okay, this is the last one that we're going to go over today, okay? I know this has been a lot of information. A data dump. Okay, nevertheless, according to the disposition of divine providence, separated souls sometimes come forth from their abode and appear to men, as Augustine relates of the martyr Felix, who appeared visibly to the people of Nola when they were besieged by the barbarians. Okay, so he's saying, yes, souls can leave their abode and come and visit people on earth. It is also credible that this may occur sometimes to the damned, and that for man's instruction and intimidation they be permitted to appear to the living, or again, in order to seek our suffrages as to those who are detained in purgatory, as evidenced by many instances related in the fourth book of the Dialogues. Okay, so if they say in here that, your aunt or uncle or brother or sister dies and they're in purgatory, they might be able to come back and visit us in order to ask for prayers. Okay, suffrages would be prayers. Yeah. Okay, so if you felt like, you're, God forbid, one of your siblings or your parents died, and you're like, gosh, I have the sense that they're in the room. I mean, according to Thomas Aquinas, that could happen. And that might be a reminder, like, I need to pray for them, because maybe they're trying to tell me.
So
that
when we say people are haunting you, they're just saying, hey, get on your knees and pray, please.
Yeah, right.
So it's kind of like, it's like the movie The Sixth Sense, basically, because isn't it, I haven't seen the movie, I've only seen the trailer, but isn't it like they're asking the boy for help or something like that? Have you seen the?
Yeah, it's been a while.
Something
I've
like
seen
that.
It twice, and they're coming back because they need something.
Right. Yeah.
Like in one case, a mother poisoned her child. And I think that child wants everybody to know how he died. Okay. So because the mother got away with it, okay, in the movie. And so he's coming back and like, come on, justice needs to be served here. My mom killed me. My mom poisoned my oatmeal. Okay. And so then there was like a video that they had set up and he wanted somebody to know. So yeah, anyways.
So technically the Sixth Sense is realistic. If the departed soul can come back, right?
Yeah, but he came back visibly.
Yeah, it was
like
different.
that would be like Diane being dead, and then but she's here amongst us. Or oh no, I don't know. No, because only the little boy could see dead people.
Right.
So most people can't see them.
Right.
Because I'm sorry. It's coming back to me slowly.
Yeah.
Because nobody could see Bruce Willis other than the little boy because Bruce Willis was dead.
Right.
And there was like that one scene. I know you haven't seen it, but where Bruce Willis sits down to have dinner with his wife. And his wife is crying, and he starts, he sits down, but you find out later, I'm giving it all away. You find out later she never saw him.
Right.
She was mourning their anniversary, and she was there by herself. He sits down, but she never saw him.
Right.
But we see him
Yeah.
Okay.
That makes a little bit more sense.
Yeah. Okay. So, all right. So keep going here. There is, however, this difference between the saints and the damned, that the saints can appear when they will to the living, but not the damned. For even as the saints, while living in the flesh, are able by the gifts of gratuitous grace to heal and work wonders, which can only be done miraculously by the divine power, and cannot be done by those who lack this gift, so it is not unfitting for the souls of the saints to be endowed with a power in virtue of their glory, so that they are able to appear wondrously to the living when they will, whether others are unable to do so unless they be sometimes permitted. Okay, so do you get that?
Nope. Say again, please.
No.
Basically, they get permission, right?
Well, he's saying that the saints have the benefit of being able to go when they want.
Oh.
Okay, so I think that's what he's saying. Okay. Because I think.
Is that saying that the people in purgatory then?
Well, they're not. Well, I don't know. I mean, because somebody in purgatory is not a saint,
right?
But I mean, but that's what he's saying. And he's saying it is not unfitting for the souls of the saints to be endowed with a power in virtue of their glory, so that they are able to appear wondrously to the living when they will. Okay, so when they want to. Because it's like if I'm given the gift of healing, all right, so I can heal because God has given me that gift, all right. If you have the gift of prophecy or you have the gift of teaching, right, you've been given that gift. So I think what Thomas is saying is that these saints are given the gift by God to go when they want and visit the living. So why does St. Monica not visit Augustine?
Yeah.
That's interesting. So it looked like there's a lot of
I have a couple.
through.
Yeah, let me catch us up here. Victor asked an interesting question because he talked about, coming back to like say, hey, remind you feel presence to pray for me or something like that. He goes, is it only prayers or could it be duties that they did not fulfill? Example, if they owed $1,000 to somebody.
They come back to pay you?
Come back. Yeah, I guess, and just like kind of remind you or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, that's interesting. Something tells me you're going to be watching The Sixth Sense this weekend.
Yeah.
It is R.
If only I had time. Yeah.
It's an R-rated movie.
Yeah.
Because it is kind of creepy. I don't think there's much else other than just creepiness in it. There's no like sexuality or bad language, as I recall.
Not too much violence or anything like that.
I won't. I've already given way too much away. But
Dave.
But all right. So any other? I don't want to take away your trivia questions if you're doing this, but any other movies where there's ghosts? That I mentioned Stand By Me, where the crawdads sing, but all these movies about death or ghosts, that kind of stuff. It's certainly something that people are very fascinated by, wouldn't you say?
For sure.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. It is. It's a very, anytime Halloween comes around, the amount of horror films that come out about ghosts and things like that every year. So,
yeah.
definitely.
So are you guys, your family, or you, are you spooky stuff out in front of the house, or?
Not at all, no.
A couple of things, but not like, it's pretty tame. We're like fun. We're fun spooky. Like pumpkins, jack-o'-lanterns, jack-o'-lanterns, maybe a few other things, but it's pretty tame at our house. Maybe some spider webs.
Yeah. I bet Aquinas would have been a fun guy to trick or treat too, because he'd be like, children, do you understand?
He would, you'd be like, trick or treat, and he'd be like, when you say trick or treat, what do you mean? Like,
why are the option? Or he might like give them each like one of his treatises instead of candy. You know?
I did trunk or treat at my parish last night, and my sister and I did a Sacred Heart themed trunk, and we were giving out images of the Sacred Heart of Jesus and crayons along with candy and little Sacred Heart chocolates.
Did they appreciate the religious stuff?
I think most of the kids liked the coloring sheet and getting the crayons, so they might have been more excited about the crayons, but you don't know how, not all these kids were from the parish, so it's always good. Hey, they have a little image of the Sacred Heart of Jesus now. So.
Did you ever go trick-or-treating in the neighborhood?
No, we never have. Our parents aren't really into the whole Halloween thing.
The Halloween thing.
Yeah. I think this year we did this last year too, but I think we're going to our parish at Mater Dei to do the All Saints Day party on All Hallows Eve. So we give kids the candy, but we dress up as saints instead.
Yeah, that's what they did. This was parish last night.
Cool.
All right. Well, it's 13 minutes before the hour, and
so Dave, one more thing. So basically, ghosts do exist.
He wants it. He wants a He wants a thesis statement of the show.
Is that the claim that ghosts do exist?
Well, yeah. I mean, if you understand ghosts as being separated souls,
sure.
Okay, that's fine. I thought there was supposed to be some big surprise in this show.
And maybe it just hasn't happened yet.
Okay.
Just move forward, Dave. Move forward.
When William said, "Now, Dave," I was like, "Okay, here it is."
The ghost comes. That's when we drop the sheet from the ceiling, and Dave becomes the ghost. Yes.
How many people know about this surprise?
Just William and I.
Just you? Okay. So like Adrian's not in on it or anything?
No.
Okay. I thought. Okay. All right. Well, is it time to transition? I hate the word transition in our culture today.
Well, now it's bad.
Yeah.
But
it's like,
it's that time of the show where we give Dave Suma to think about,
and he gives it right back.
Is that the surprise?
Well, look at your screen, Dave. Look at your screen.
Okay, wait, hold on.
That was a little bit of a disaster, a train wreck.
Dave Suma. Oh, look at that. Okay. So it's a graphic.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I told you it wasn't that big of a deal. But I think I stressed Dave out by telling him there was a surprise.
No, and I wasn't even looking at the screen. So.
Yeah, he wasn't.
Okay.
That was awesome. And William and I spent a lot of hours practicing that.
That's fine. Okay, so it looks like Adrian has weighed in on some of this stuff. Let's see. Can I read this one?
Yeah, go for it.
He says, although the dead be able to appear to the living as they will, that they appear as often as when living in the flesh, because when they are separated from the flesh, they are either wholly conformed to the divine will, so that they may do nothing but what they see to be agreeable with the divine disposition, or else they are so overwhelmed by their punishments that their grief for their unhappiness surpasses their desire to appear to others. That must be in a different part of that article. Like, is that one of the answers to the objection or something? Because that was not part of what I read, but it looks like it's a further explanation of the same article. So, Adrian, you can confirm if that's the case. All right. So, okay, well, thank you, and pretty deep topic. Did you enjoy this topic? Or
I did.
I did.
Too heavy?
I did. No,
Yeah.
it was good.
I mean, Dave, we've talked about so much heavier than this. This is actually kind of not fun, but it's kind of and maybe fun's not the right word, but it's interesting.
Yeah,
It's
very interesting, especially around this time.
It's applicable. Yeah. Right. Okay. All right. So, William, do you have a trivia question?
I do. Yeah.
One
this
or
will
two?
probably be my longest trivia. So not two, more than that.
Oh, more than two.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm doing.
He's moving up slowly.
Yeah.
He's gonna be up
slowly.
to 10 pretty soon.
Well, actually, today I have the 15 best ghost movies of all times ranked. According...
15 best. Wait, do we have to get them in order, or are we just gonna name them?
How would you get them in order?
Yeah,
I'll just say like what's 15, what's 14, that type of thing.
Okay, and then we'll just try to see. But
okay. Oh, so
yeah.
I don't even know that many.
Okay, Ghostbusters. It's not 15th. It's probably one of the top ones.
No,
but-
Ghostbusters is in the, and this is from /film.com.
Well,
The
So
source.
Ghostbusters isn't on there?
well,
Ghostbusters is not on here at all. No.
Oh, on the
really?
list is a top 15.
Nope.
Not on the
Well,
list.
then I'm out of the running,
I'm gonna
guys.
say
Okay, Sixth Sense.
Wait.
No,
wait,
Sixth Sense isn't
Wait, you're
15.
just going to like take them all?
Am I not allowed to? It's trivia. This is war.
Okay, the movie Ghost. But with,
Ghost
Patrick
is in-
Swayze.
Nope. It's not here.
What?
Nope. It wasn't on the
What
list.
was this from, like 1932 or something?
I have no idea what the date was, but /film.com.
Slash film, you are inaccurate.
Poltergeist?
Yeah.
Nope. It's
No.
not on the list.
So there's 15 and we can't think
We
of
haven't even gotten
15.
one.
Is anybody guessing?
Does anyone have any ideas here? Because we're
Okay,
out.
the 16th Sense is on here,
The
but it's
Sixth
not
Sense.
number 15.
Okay.
We're not,
15 to 1.
We're not going to be able to get them like in order.
You don't think
just
so?
have to
You don't
tell
think
us
so?
if it's on the list.
Okay, cool.
So,
All right, go
All right,
ahead.
that case is Ghostbusters on the list then.
Ghostbusters is not on the list. Nope.
Gosh dang it. Okay.
Yeah, that's a
Poltergeist is what we're getting, and Ghost Ship are some ones from the audience. Ghost Ship and Poltergeist.
Ghost
Oh,
Ship.
how
And
about,
Ghosts
how about
from-
how about the Christmas Story?
No. it's not
Because
on here.
remember the guy from Christmas Past? Remember he
Oh, you mean A
visits?
Christmas Carol?
Yeah, Christmas.
Oh,
Carol.
that one. Yeah, that's on the
That's
list.
not on there.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
Lori Ackman is, Lori Powell on Facebook is saying Thin Man, which I've seen all the Thin Man series. I'm not sure which ghost she's thinking
Thin
of.
Man,
from-
that's creepy.
The Thin Man?
Yeah, isn't that though? The big.
We're thinking of two. I'm thinking of a
Yeah.
1930s film,
Okay.
like detective
No,
film series.
there's something creepy. This little.
How
Thin
about
Man
The
is.
Shining?
What about Scrooge? Another one from Lori. The Shining.
Are you
None of
sure
these
this
are
is
on
a-
here.
okay,
Carrie.
No, Carrie
Carrie?
wasn't a ghost.
I know that's Adrian just said it. I'm passing it along. Do you have something to say,
Yeah.
Manny? Because we're struggling.
Ghost
Ghost films.
movies.
Top 15 ghost films.
The Changeling.
Oh,
The chain.
Exorcist.
That's on here. Yeah, you got it.
Changeling. Oh, okay.
Oh,
Man. Wow, Manny. I got also Ghost Story.
It said Ghostbusters wasn't on there.
Oh, really?
Movies about ghosts and Ghostbusters wasn't on there.
Ghostbusters not on the top 15. No.
Story from the 80s.
The Conjuring.
The Conjuring. Let's see.
Yeah, Adrian's like, I'm thinking more horror films. That's too. It's easy to get those confused sometimes. The horror and the ghost.
Yeah, somebody said Jaws.
Hey, Jaws.
Jaws
you know,
wasn't a ghost.
you know, the ghost shark. Don't you know?
Casper.
Number
Casper's number 15.
Hold on.
The Casper
Casper's
the
on,
Friendly
but not,
Ghost?
but not the Ghostbusters.
Casper's number 15, but not Ghostbusters.
Okay,
I am confusion right now.
Can you give us a few of them? Just
Sure,
so
yeah,
we
we-
kind of
yeah.
see where they're going with this.
Yeah. So, like from 15 to just
Yeah,
give you
15.
first
Yeah,
couple.
list them all. I'm curious.
All right, cool. Number 15 is Casper. Number 14, The Haunting. Number 13, Jew on the Grudge. Number 12, Cowaden. Number 11, Stir of Echoes. The
These
next
are like indie films or something.
yeah. The next one is the Changeling. Manny got that one. The next one's 13 Ghosts.
Okay.
The next one's The Devil's Backbone. Hasu. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. The Frighteners. The Others. The 16th Sense. I think you guys got that
The
one.
Sixth Sense.
Or sorry,
The 16th Sense.
I put the 16th. It's either the 6th or the
Yes.
16th. I have no
Yeah,
idea.
no.
The next one, A Tale of Two Sisters, Lake Mungo, and Poltergeist.
Poltergeist.
Yeah.
Poltergeist
Yeah,
is
we
on
said
there.
that one.
Oh, you did? Okay.
We got that
Yeah,
one.
that was number one.
That was number one.
Yeah, see, that was the
On the
kind
list.
of a really.
They do the indie movies. That's
Yeah,
what I say. Yeah,
yeah.
the-
This is kind of like
Adrian's
nerd-
claiming that they're not real movies. I think they are, but like they,
I mean,
it's just
some-
these
some
are
of-
probably the most. They're probably the best made ghost films, but they probably are not the
Yeah.
ones that people know. You know,
Probably.
But
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
Ghostbusters wasn't on there, I knew that this was not like a popular.
You're like, this
not by
list is
popular
messed
ranking,
up.
but by like probably art form.
Because have you seen or heard of Ghostbusters?
I've heard of them. Yeah,
Yeah,
I think I've seen the
These
trailer.
three guys,
But
basically,
Yeah.
their company is they go out and they hunt
Yes,
down ghosts.
yes.
Well,
and-
you know, it's okay. We got a couple. We
yeah. I think we can walk
two or
away.
three.
But yeah,
Yes.
all right. Well, thank you, William.
Yeah, you bet.
So I was getting some slack for always doing like basically using like lists like you do and doing the pop culture stuff. And so I thought about it really long and hard this morning about how I wanted to be different. I didn't want to just do what you all expect me to do. And after
Right.
thinking about it long and hard, I decided that was too much effort. So I'm just going to stick with what I do.
So why are you telling us this?
So actually, I did change it up a little bit. Have you all ever heard of the game Buzzword?
I have now.
Okay,
I just
well,
did
you did.
about
It's one
5
of-
seconds ago.
It's one of my favorite games, and it's kind of a game of idioms. And you're given a buzzword. In this case, it will be ghost. And then I give you clues to come up with something either in pop culture or a phrase or a saying or just, kind of like a noun that has that word in it.
Okay.
So the answer has to have ghost in it. And it's just going to be kind of a hodgepodge of different things. It's like songs, movies.
So ghost is in the answer.
In the answer. I have 5 of them. And some of these are like really, really easy. Some of them are a little bit harder. So it's going to be first come,
First come, first serve.
first come, first serve. All right. Is everyone ready?
I was born ready, yeah.
We'll start really, really easy. Who are you going to call?
Ghostbusters.
Okay. Happy little cartoon character opposite of what he is.
Friendly ghost.
I don't know if that was English entirely, but okay. Okay. And then when someone suddenly stops all communication with you with no
Ghosting.
notice. Yes, ghosting.
Wow.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry,
Have you heard that
William.
expression?
What?
Have you heard of ghosting?
I haven't heard that expression. No.
He's clearly never been ghosted.
No.
That's a good thing,
It's
you know?
a relatively new term.
Yeah,
Okay.
I wonder back in the day, like you just stopped writing letters to someone. I was ghosted by them, but of course you wouldn't know because it took months for like letters to arrive.
And on Jeff's show today, they were talking about
that's
Tori
right.
and her husband.
She
how
kinda ghosted him, didn't she?
She ghosted him for like 3 months. He texted her and
I'm not going to say that this is like to anyone out there who's single. I don't know if that's a great strategy per se. I mean, it worked for her. She ended up marrying the guy, but
like to ghost somebody.
Yeah, to ghost
But
somebody.
she clearly wasn't interested at the time.
no,
I mean,
no, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think she was like, I'm
I'm not a fan. Aside. I'm not a fan of ghosting. I'd rather just be forward and say, no, I'm not interested.
Yeah.
Just as an FYI.
All right, little dating advice from sister.
Yeah, because I have a lot of that. And then someone who does not get the credit, but does the work of authoring something.
Oh, a ghostwriter.
Yeah. All right. This is probably the only one that's the hardest. So maybe, I don't know, maybe you'll get it, William.
Maybe.
A hymn written by Rabanus Maurus in the 7th century.
Oh, whoa. This is sounds like an Adrian thing.
Then I want to know if anyone knows this one.
Wait,
it's a hymn. The author's probably not going to help you. So
I'm
it's a
blanking.
hymn. It's a pretty popular. I did a very quick search because I'm familiar with this hymn, but I do sometimes get mixed up if this was more of a Protestant hymn or more of a Catholic hymn. Well, no, it wouldn't be because it was in the 7th century. It's a Catholic hymn.
Okay.
So a Catholic hymn that we sing. I think I've heard it in my church at least. I'm pretty sure in the last few years. Adrian has no idea. Oh no.
Be thou my ghost.
No, that's a good guess though. But no, that's not the one. It's
Okay.
anyone?
Haven't you ever Be Thou My Vision?
Yes.
All I did was take Vision out and put Ghost in.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, that's what I was like, that didn't sound
Be
right.
thou my ghost.
Okay. You know what? All right. No, it's come Holy Ghost, Creator bless. Come Holy Ghost. See, I knew you all would know it. Does everyone remember that one?
I do.
Okay.
Oh, Mary got it on YouTube. Mary got it right when we started talking about it. Good job, Mary.
Mary, you are the bomb.
Yeah, you win this one. Well, sorry, William. I tried.
Oh, is that it?
But by the way, Forrest says that I'm still unique in my question, so thank you.
Okay.
I don't want to
so,
fall into a rut ever.
All right. I went a very, very, very different direction.
Oh, who could have
Okay?
seen that coming?
Okay.
And what I did was I took the word ghosts, with plural, and I took the first letter of each. Well, I took each of those letters. There's 6 of them in the word ghosts, and I found an animal that starts with that letter. And remember, I was talking earlier about universal and
Oh
individual
my
and all
goodness!
that?
Talk about trying to drag the theme in just.
I know. So what I'm going to ask you is how many species of each of these animals exists? Okay.
Wait, do we have to guess what the animal to it?
No. I'm going to tell you the animal.
Is the first one goat?
Yes. Yeah.
I was going to guess
Can I get-
goose.
Okay, well,
Can I get a bonus point?
That can be another part of it is that you
You do
guess
guess.
which animal. Okay, so now that Sissel just got 1
So
point.
can I guess? Is it goat, horse, otter?
Wait, hold on, one at a time. Okay. So now, okay.
I just want to win.
So what I really was getting at is how many species of goats.
Oh, goodness
exist? And
gracious.
if you wanna, and this is actually okay. So
I'm going to say
Victor is
Victor's saying 200.
Okay,
I'm going to
so-
say 130.
Okay, and out there in social media land, you can win. Okay, how many species of goats?
You don't
are
win
there?
anything. You just win.
Yeah. So,
you can
so
win.
what did you say?
I said 130.
Okay.
I'm going to go with,
It could be way less. I don't know. I'm so confused.
I'm going to say 110. around
Okay,
there.
Forrest said 138. So the answer is 300.
Whoa! I think it's Adrian. No, Victor
Okay,
wins
so,
that one.
So Victor gets a point. So Sissel has one. Victor has one.
I think Manny's popping in now. He's the GRN producer. He's saying there are 32 species.
No, so he's 32. No, there's a lot more. than that.
300?
Okay, so now
That's a
what?
ton.
So,
Oh my
so next
goodness.
one, what animal did I pick with the H?
Horse.
Okay, Sissel gets another
Obviously.
point. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
well, it could have been what else starts with an H? What? Are there any other animals that start with H?
Hog.
Hogs. Okay.
Yeah.
So how many species of horses are there?
Ooh, I'm going to say like 450.
450. Okay. Victor said 150.
Oh, see, he's going more conservative, and I was.
I'll go.
Adrian says 42.
Oh, and hippo is another.
Now, they
H.
also have the advantage. Okay, Forrest said 350. So Forrest is closest. It's 400.
Oh, I
400.
said.
Okay, wow.
Wait.
Yeah,
Oh, I said
okay,
450. I was.
This one is so competitive. Okay, let me tell you about that. Okay, so
I'm
what did I
sorry.
pick for the O?
Lord, grant me the grace for someone else to win. to desire someone else to win.
What did I pick for the O? So there's
Otter.
Otter.
No,
You didn't pick my favorite animal.
I did not.
Wait,
Ostrich.
Good guess, but no.
Okay.
I thought you said it earlier, but
I said
maybe
otter
you said
earlier.
otter. Okay.
Hold on. Let me think about this.
Okay, octopus. Good guess, but no. Okay, I'll give you a clue. Okay,
Please do.
Okay, so you don't know who?
Owl.
Okay, I'm not giving you. Okay, so
Okay.
how many species of owls?
500.
500. Okay, she's very
I'll
confident.
say 450.
450. Okay. Nobody else is guessing out there in social media land.
Lots.
200,
86,
250.
70, 250.
250.
Oh, well, who wins that? I guess that's
William. Yeah, because he's lower. He was lower.
Oh.
Okay, snake. Oh, S.
Actually, Lori on Facebook did 375.
Oh, did she?
All right,
Okay.
sorry, continue.
Okay, snakes. I gave it away. The S for.
Oh, who could have
snake.
seen that one coming with you, Dave? Snakes.
Okay, so we have 300 species of goats, 400 horses, 250 owls. How many snakes?
Oh, there's got to be 8. I'm going to say like 900.
900. Okay.
Really, Adrian? He did
Vic-
666.
Victor says 1,000 species of.
Why they got to be snakes?
I'm gonna shoot for 800.
Ooh, we're all around
okay.
each other.
So Victor's closest. There's 3,000.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
3,000. So
That is
Victor,
wild.
Victor is
Wow,
now
yeah.
3,000
That
types of
is
snakes.
insane.
Okay,
Yeah.
so what do you think the T is?
Wait.
Forrest said 1 million.
Hey.
No, a billion. He thought there was a billion
T.
species of snakes?
Turtles.
No,
Turtles.
that'd be too obvious.
You literally, I guess, go on the first guess. You can't
Okay,
say it's too obvious.
It's tigers.
Oh, there's got to be a
So-
good number of
so
them.
how many species of tigers are there?
I'll say 200.
I'm going to
300.
say 372.
Okay. So 200 and 372. According to my research, there are 2 species of tigers.
Only?
Only 2.
Are you kidding me?
I know that crazy.
Wait.
So William has just moved into a tie with Victor and Sissel, with one.
This is
to
unacceptable.
go.
It's a comeback.
Okay. William, Victor, and Sissel. Okay, so what did I pick for the second S? Because we have ghosts.
Sheep?
No.
No? Okay, yeah, that'd be obvious.
Well, shellfish. That's too general.
Okay, anybody want to guess? Yeah.
What is another animal that begins with S? Goodness gracious.
Well, you have
Swordfish. No, I'm just-
swordfish. That's that'd be
Sorry,
a
I'm
species
sorry.
of
I
fish.
know.
Okay. Anybody guess? Okay. Isn't that funny how you can't think of?
I know.
Hold
yeah.
on a second. It's the pressure.
Okay.
Wait,
So
let me see if
nobody's
anyone
guessing
is
it.
anyone getting it?
No.
No.
Okay, I'll tell you. Okay, for the sake of time.
Slugs, snails.
Spiders.
Oh, there's a
Obviously.
lot of spiders.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
I'm
for-
gonna say-
Okay, for this is for all the marbles. William, Victor, Sissel are tied for 2. How many species of spiders are there? And I will remind you: 3,000 snakes, 2 tigers, 250 owls, 400 horses, 300 goats. Of course, everybody out there in social media land has the advantage of doing a quick search.
Yeah,
on the
doing a
internet.
Google search. I was
So-
responding to comments, by the way. I was not.
Okay.
I'm gonna say
Adrian
I'm gonna
said
say like
6,000.
8,900. So
I'm gonna say
8,900.
100,000.
Ooh.
Whoa, you're going big. 100,000 species, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. And what did you say? 89?
89.
8,900?
Yes.
Okay. So actually, Sissel's closer. It's 45,000. But 8,900 is closer to 45,000 than
Oh, no.
100,000 is.
Oh yeah.
Right? Okay. All right.
Wow.
There's like no celebration.
No, I'm sorry. I saw a comment.
Normally,
I didn't get my applause from Diane, so I didn't.
66666. Okay. All right. So there you go. That kind of does it for the trivia section. I still feel really dumb by William's question about those movies. Maybe I need to watch more movies.
I guess so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently only ghost movies though to catch up with it. Gotta watch all those indie films.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you, William. Thank you, Sissel.
thank you.
Diane, thank you so much for running the board. Thanks, everybody, for participating in the program today. We'll see you next week with another fun topic related to the Summa Theologia by St. Thomas Aquinas. God bless you.
Thanks for joining us for Back to the Father. And don't forget, the glory of God is the human person fully alive. If you have comments about the show, email Dave Palmer at grnonline.com.